It's been 6 years since I have this channel on YouTube, and mostly I've been trying to entertain people, to amuse people. But I have been talking about politics, and I do have political leanings. So a lot of people have asked me, have I ever changed my mind on something? And it's a very good question, because someone who doesn't change their mind at all means that usually either they're paid to be a propagandist, so they're paid to say something, which is why it's irrelevant what their mind is on about. Like, they're just a mouthpiece for specific interests. Or they just don't think for themselves. So it's a person that takes the information from a third party and just parrots it. They watch the news and then they say what's on the news. So that's not really a person that you should listen to. Just listen to the news. Why are you listening to the person that's parroting stuff? So yeah, I've changed my mind on a lot of things. The first thing that I changed my mind on was on the Second Amendment. In Romania, there is no gun culture whatsoever. In fact, if you were to take a weapon and put it in front of me, I would scream. It's scary. No, seriously, that you don't understand this if you're an American. To a Romanian, the physical manifestation of a gun, it's a frightening thing. It has an aura of dread. Just if I see it. Not if I see a picture of it in a video game. No. Like, if you actually took a Glock and you put it on my table, I would scream. It's frightening. So the overwhelming amount of Romanians are inherently against even the concept of a gun, let alone the Second Amendment, which is something funny because before World War II, carrying weapons in Romania was legal, and the communists are the ones that took them away. I wonder why. But now that I live in a rural area, a little bit away from the city, where it takes around 30 minutes for the police to arrive, the concept of, like, what do you do if someone actually does want to break in has come up. And there is no solution in Romania. I guess, like, have a vicious guard dog or something like that. But it is a problem. And this is something that even in America, people realize that the city folk who have access to police and they can call the cops within several minutes, they don't understand how it's like to live in the countryside or the rural area, where it's not just individuals that want to break into your house, but it could be wild animals. Like, you have a couple of wild pigs. If you don't know, these are nature's version of tanks. The bullets can actually ricochet away from the goddamn thing. They're very dangerous, especially if you have children. So yeah, it is a question that does come up. So I did change my mind on the Second Amendment when someone told me, it's like, if you're in danger, what do? You call a cop. What does the cop have? A gun. Like, okay, so why does the police officer need to come with the gun when you could have the gun to begin with if you're in danger? Like, what is the advantage then? It's like, why do you need a tertiary party? It's like, oh, because it's the cops. But aren't cops bastards? I mean, why, right? So, who do you trust more, the cop or your neighbor? Like, and I'm like, you know what? I mean, yeah, why shouldn't people have it? So I do think that it's a good idea. I don't think it will ever happen in Romania in my lifetime, but I changed my mind on the issue. Another thing that I changed my mind is that if you just tell people the truth, if you just reason with people, they will change their mind on politics. So if you show people, it's like, look, the people you listen to, the politician or the media, they're lying to you. And all of a sudden, the people would be like, gasp, how was I so stupid? I should change my political opinions. Okay, that doesn't happen. The idea of pushing intelligence into politics, it doesn't exist. People like emotions when it comes to politics. They want to see a puppy getting hurt. They want to see that little girl with the matches that is shivering in the cold, and only they can help by giving a like on Facebook. They want to see that really nice activism cause that they can just change their avatar on Facebook and change the world. So number one, people are very comfortable. They don't really like to go out and do things. I mean, for example, how many people would be likely to actually sue the government if they knew that the government is fucking with them and it's illegal? Not a lot of people. Like, people are most likely to curse at the president, fuck Donald Trump, but how many people would actually put their name on a list of people that want to sue the government. Not many, okay? So people are very convenient. They don't like to actually do things, and they are driven by emotions. And to further my point, the third thing that I changed my mind on, so the second one was that people act on emotion rather than intelligence. The third one is the fact that people don't care if they're being lied to. So I changed my mind on this fact because it was like, okay, if you just expose the person that they're being lied to, they will just change their mind. No, the recent pandemic has definitely showed to me that this is not the case. I mean, there was a time, a small window, but it existed, where the media and the authorities on one hand was telling people that they need to shut down their businesses because they're under a lockdown. So the government is saving people's lives by shutting down their livelihoods. And literally in the same day, you had other articles and other people in power telling people that they need to go out to BLM rallies, which had millions of people in the street. I mean, at this point, if any human being would just question one or the other. It's like either the government wants BLM people to get sick, or the government doesn't really care about people's health and they're locking down the businesses for economical reasons. Like, both couldn't exist at the same time. You need to pick and choose. You know, it's the same with the people who said, my body, my choice, so they're pro-choice, and the people that's like, no, everyone needs to get forcefully vaccinated, vaccine mandates. Like, okay, you need to pick one. You can't have both, right? Like, I understand both are noble in their pursuit and both are really great, but like, you need to choose one of them and stick with that. But no, like, people just don't care. You know, they don't see these logical inconsistencies. They don't care that they're being lied to, because obviously one of them has to be a lie, regardless of which side you're on. The other one needs to be lying by default. So no, like, people don't care about when they're being lied to. The thing that people care about is when they're being hurt. And by hurt, I don't mean physically, I mean financially. Like, when you don't have money to put food on the table, that's when people start to care a lot. You know the expression, an army doesn't run on an empty stomach? It's true for the people as well. And I noticed this in my country and in many other countries. When people can't put food on the table, that is when they actually start doing things, like suing the government or going out on the streets and whatnot. That is the time. And it's not about like not having food on the table at all. No, it's like if like 25% of food is less on the table, then they start to actively get involved into politics and change their mind on a lot of issues and start to see things in a different way. The other thing that I changed my mind on is that people don't like fascismus, right? Because during the Trump era, the left and the right all agreed fascismus is bad. But recent events have showed me that people love fascismus if it's for a good cause. So, I don't know if you guys noticed, depending on what country you're in. In some countries this applies, in some it doesn't, but we are becoming China light. Of course, we are becoming China light for a good cause. So, from the war on misinformation, where the internet needs to be sanitized and the search engines need to show you specific results, and these search engines and these corporations are outright telling you that they're doing it. It's not a conspiracy or anything. But you have to show papers to a fucking waiter. Like, if I want to go to a restaurant, I need to show papers to the waiter. I need to scan a QR code for the waiter. Why is the waiter needing to see the thing that I have done? Like, why is that a thing? Like, if a person did the correct thing, you know, that the government wants and they got vaccinated, why do they need to prove it to a waiter? And no one has a problem with this. I mean, the very aspect of showing papers used to be considered the epitome of fascismus, right? Like, only in German, and like Papiere, kann ich habe your Papieren bitte? The video game, Papers, Please. Like, there used to be a problem with the concept of a government entity asking you for papers. Now, it's not just the government entity, it's the waiter, right? The waiter asks you for papers, and people are just fine with it. Why? Because it's for a good cause. So, again, you know, another myth debunked, that people don't like fascismus. They absolutely do, if it's for a good cause, and especially if it's their guy doing it. The fifth thing that I changed my mind is about my ideology as well, libertarianism and the idea of individualism. While I do think libertarianism is really great, especially in times like this, like people ask, like, how is this affecting the individual? Like, just the fact that people ask this question, I think it's a win. Because at the end of the day, I'm the individual, I'm the one that's being affected. But I do think it has its limits. Sometimes religion, for example, can be a good motivator. Like religion, from what I saw, a lot of political activists manage not to get demoralized simply because they believe in God. So it's like, it doesn't matter that I've lost this battle. Jesus is with me, and Jesus is the winner. And I will keep trying and trying and trying because Jesus will save, right? So the very fact that there are people who are religious, and again, I was a hardcore atheist, militant atheist, but the very fact that you have people who have this faith, they don't get demoralized. They're not giving up. So these people that are God is with us, the Lord helps them, right? And as long as your political interests align with those people, then it's good to have them on your side. Not to mention the Lord saves you for Marxism. I mean, Marxism already was in my country. It had like state-enforced atheism. Newsflash, Marxists, when they get into power, they're very bad people for the individual. So I would rather have some help from the Lord. Not necessarily the Lord, because I still don't believe in him, but from his people. His people are nice. At least when they're not in absolute power, okay? When they're going to be in absolute power, then I'll start with shilling with the Marxists, I guess, in order to keep the balance, like maintain balance in all things. But right now, no, the Lord, very good. Lord's people, even better. Except for the Pope. I don't like the Pope. The Pope is weird. So I guess those are the things that I've changed my mind over the past. Now, I used to be a hardcore centrist when I did the political compass test. I was literally on the middle, like on that crosshair, boom, there I was. And by answering those questions, like I didn't try to be a centrist or anything. But over time, I definitely moved more to the right. If you're a leftist, I'm sorry, but your side is just wrong. Like flat out wrong. I can't just think of a single thing right now where I would agree with a progressive on an issue. And it's not because of me, it's just like they went just so far to the left where I can't see them anymore. They're like a dot to me, you know, because I still agree with the old left. Like if you have a time machine and you get a Democrat from the 80s, like, yeah, I would agree with them on gay marriage. I would agree with them on many issues. It's just that right now, like, what do you want me to agree with the progressive? Like, on what issue? I can't think of any. It's like, okay, he wants to tax me more. I don't want to be taxed more. Leave me the fuck alone. He wants more government in my life. I don't want more government in my life. Just leave me alone. Literally, if you are on the ideology, just leave me the hell alone, there is nothing you and a progressive can have a heart-to-heart with. Like, literally nothing. Again, if you get a Democrat from the 80s, you will probably have a lot of issues on the leave me alone aspect. But with a progressive today, I don't see it. I just don't see it. Maybe there is, I don't know. Hopefully in the future there might be, because I don't think it's healthy for people to be this divided. Like, it's okay for some division. Some division is fine, but when you're divided on literally every single issue, then it's a problem, right? Because that is a situation for conflict, and conflict needs to have a resolution, meaning that some people are going to inflict their will upon others. And I don't know if you can have a country like that. But anyway, right. These are the things that I changed my mind on. Let me know what you think. And please share this video around, because I'm really curious to see what people think about this. And tell me what you have changed your mind on recently.